In the dimly lit town of Ravenswood, nestled deep within a thick forest, there stood an abandoned mansion that had long been shrouded in a sinister legend. Locals spoke of it only in hushed tones, warning travelers to steer clear of its decaying walls. They called it the Cursed Manor. One gloomy October evening, a group of adventurous teenagers decided to challenge the legends. Sarah, Mark, Lisa, and Mike, armed with flashlights and courage fueled by youthful hubris, set out to explore the Cursed Manor. As they entered the mansion's dilapidated foyer, their footsteps echoed through the dusty corridors. The air was frigid, and cobwebs hung like ethereal tapestries. The place seemed frozen in time, as if the very walls held their breath. Mike, the self-proclaimed leader of the group, led the way into a grandiose living room with a massive fireplace. They gathered around it, casting eerie shadows on the walls. Mark, always the skeptic, attempted to lighten the mood with a nervous laugh. "So, who's up for a ghost hunt?" As they roamed the mansion's labyrinthine hallways, unsettling occurrences became impossible to ignore. Sarah's flashlight flickered intermittently, casting eerie shapes on the walls. Lisa swore she heard faint whispers that seemed to emanate from behind the peeling wallpaper. Mark's skepticism waned as he felt a bone-chilling draft, despite the absence of any broken windows. Their exploration eventually led them to the basement. A rusty door at the end of a narrow corridor beckoned them closer. Sarah hesitated, clutching her flashlight tightly, but curiosity got the better of them. With trembling hands, they pushed the door open. The basement was a chilling abyss, illuminated only by the dim glow of their flashlights. The air grew colder, and they could hear the faint drip-drip of water. In the center of the room, they found an ancient, ornate mirror, its glass tarnished and cracked. It seemed strangely out of place amidst the cellar's decay. Mikey, being the bravest of the group, approached the mirror. His reflection appeared distorted, as if the glass held secrets of a darker world. Lisa, unable to tear her gaze away, whispered, "I see something moving inside the mirror." Mark tried to pull Mike away, but a sinister force seemed to keep him rooted in place. As they watched in horror, Mike's reflection grinned malevolently, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. With a sudden, violent jerk, the mirror seemed to swallow Mike whole, his screams fading into an eerie silence. Panic gripped the remaining three, and they rushed out of the basement, slamming the door behind them. They huddled together, trembling, trying to make sense of what they had just witnessed. Lisa whispered, "We have to leave this place now." But as they turned to flee, they found themselves trapped. The mansion's layout had shifted, and they were disoriented in a nightmarish maze of shifting walls and endless corridors. Desperation gnawed at them, and terror settled deep in their hearts. Hours turned into an eternal night as they stumbled through the ever-changing mansion, their flashlights growing dimmer. Whispers filled the air, chilling their souls. Shadows danced on the walls, and ghostly figures materialized before them, beckoning them deeper into the abyss. With each passing moment, their sanity unraveled, and their terror grew. They were trapped in a nightmarish loop of torment, unable to escape the cursed manor's grasp. The mansion itself seemed alive, a malevolent entity toying with their fear. As dawn broke, the group's once daring members were reduced to hollow, trembling wrecks. Their ordeal had drained them of hope and strength. The Cursed Manor had claimed them, its dark legend given life. The sun's first rays pierced through a cracked window, casting a pale, eerie glow on the mansion's rotting interior. And in that moment, the whispers ceased, and the ghostly apparitions faded away. The Cursed Manor seemed to sigh, releasing its grip on the once adventurous souls who had dared to enter. But Ravenswood would forever remember the tragic tale of the 4 teenagers who had ventured into the Cursed Manor, a cautionary tale to those who dared to defy the darkness that dwelled within. The beach at night has always been a place of tranquility for me, a sanctuary away from the chaos of the world. But that night, the waves whispered secrets, and the wind carried a chilling message. I should have listened. I arrived at the deserted shore, the pale moonlight casting eerie shadows upon the sand. The rhythmic crashing of waves filled my ears as I strolled along the water's edge, feeling the cool, damp sand squish beneath my bare feet. I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, a sensation that crawled under my skin like 1,000 tiny insects. I found solace in the solitude, my thoughts consumed by the distant memories of happier days. But soon, the tranquility was shattered by a distant sound, a haunting melody carried by the wind. It was a tune that seemed to beckon me further down the beach. Compelled by an unknown force, I followed the eerie melody to a lone figure standing at the water's edge. A woman, her long, raven-black hair cascading down her back, swayed in rhythm with the melody. She turned to face me, her eyes dark voids that seemed to suck the light from the moon. "Join me," she whispered, her voice a seductive and haunting melody of its own. I should have run, but I couldn't resist. As I approached her, the water at her feet turned a deep, crimson red. With each step I took, the world around me distorted, and the beach seemed to stretch on forever. The woman's beauty was ethereal, captivating, and terrifying all at once. I couldn't look away. She extended her hand toward me, her fingers unnaturally long and delicate. I reached out, my hand trembling as it brushed against hers. Cold, like death. And then, her grip tightened, her nails piercing my flesh. Pain coursed through my body as I realized her true nature. In that moment, the beach transformed. The serene waves turned into a roiling, malevolent sea. The moon was swallowed by dark clouds, and the wind howled with agony. The woman's face contorted, revealing rows of sharp, glistening teeth. I struggled to free myself from her grasp, but it was futile. She leaned in, her breath icy against my skin. "You should have heeded the warnings," she hissed. Suddenly, I was engulfed by the crimson waves, dragged beneath the surface, and into a world of darkness. I thrashed, gasping for air that wasn't there, but there was no escape. The woman's face, twisted into a grotesque grin, loomed before me, and her haunting melody echoed in my ears. As I sank deeper into the abyss, I realized that the beach, my sanctuary, had become my nightmare. The ocean swallowed me whole, and I became just another lost soul, a part of the haunting melody that lured others to their doom on that cursed shore. And so, I remain a spectral presence in the depths, forever bound to the beach at night, forever a part of its dark, chilling secrets. Beware the call of the waves, for the beach is not what it seems, and the horrors that lurk beneath the surface are beyond imagination.